Italy plays a decisive role in the mainstreaming of the far right presently at work throughout Europe. The birthplace of fascism is not only the largest EU member where the right and the far right govern together. It was also one of the first to be ruled by such a coalition. Giorgia Meloni, the post-fascist prime minister in charge since 2022, was already Silvio Berlusconi's Minister of Youth back in 2008. Moreover, contrary to Viktor Orban, she is recognized as a trustworthy partner by most European leaders. According to the historian Stefanie Prezioso, there is a strong correlation between the legitimacy currently granted to the heirs of fascism and the long-standing discredit affecting anti-fascism. In the interview she gave us, Prezioso stresses that from the founding of Italy's First Republic, the Christian Democratic Party, led by Alcide de Gasperi, invoked the need for national reconciliation. This in order to stifle the hopes of radical change harbored by the resistance to Mussolini and Nazi occupation. However, once deprived of the vigilance provided by anti-fascism, democracy soon loses the ability to recognize its enemies. Hence, the prompt rehabilitation of the Duce's faithful after the end of the war. Eager to stay in the U.S. government's good graces, the Christian Democrats could count on the assistance of the communist opposition not to rock the boat. Because Stalin wanted to preserve the status quo, Palmiro Togliatti, the Italian communist leader, ordered the rank and file to keep the base in check. Largely shared by the two main parties, the modernization project associated with the First Republic was eventually challenged by the Long 68 movement, which lasted until the mid-70s and revived the anti-fascist spirit. The decade, however, ended with the so-called Years of Lead and the stillborn historic compromise between communists and Christian Democrats, which in turn paved the way for the neoliberal counter-revolution and the demise of the First Republic. Though they destroyed the Christian Democratic Party, the corruption scandals exposed by Operation Clean Hands hardly benefited the left. Unsettled by the fall of the Soviet Empire, despite its efforts to distance itself from Moscow, the Italian Communist Party dissolved in 1991 and immediately rebranded itself as a center-left party informed by neoliberal precepts. From the void created by the implosion of the old regime, Stefanie Prezioso explains, a mutant and radicalized right would emerge, one where glitz and the cult of entrepreneurial freedom meshed with reactionary impulses. Silvio Berlusconi, the towering figure of the new era, won the legislative elections for the first time in 1994. Thanks to his media empire, he managed to turn his own brazenness into a promise of emancipation and to paint his detractors as the harbingers of a red totalitarianism despised by ordinary Italians. After being declared obsolete under the First Republic, anti-fascism was now treated as an inconvenient and suspicious tradition. The coalition formed around Silvio Berlusconi's party, Forza Italia, already included the political forces in power today, namely the Libertarians of the Northern League and the self-proclaimed post-fascists of National Alliance. The former accused the state of wasting the tax revenues of honest citizens on parasites, hailing either from the south of Italy or from Africa, while the latter contended that, save for a few mistakes between 1938 and 1945, the right had always been the loyal servant of the Italian people. Berlusconi's right-wing alliance did not only profit from the lack of vision and courage of its center-left rivals. What proved equally beneficial to its standing was the rise of Beppe Grillo and his Five Stars movement. As Prezioso demonstrates, the often clashing grievances on which the comedian built his success created a politically confusing and somewhat conspiratorial climate of defiance. Grillo alternatively railed against the privatization of water supply and against allegedly lax immigration laws, thereby preventing the translation of social movements into a revamped progressive agenda. Thus, what eventually brought Berlusconi down was not the reawakening of the left, but the exasperation of his European partners with his lack of fiscal discipline. Berlusconi's exit did not undo the rightist alliance that he had brokered. Instead, it led to a new balance of power among its components. Indeed, in today's ruling coalition, Forza Italia is largely a rump party, while Fratelli d'Italia, the custodian of the fascist legacy, is dominant. Polite and collegial, Giorgia Meloni is now treated as a loyal member of the European community. At the same time, her government is no longer content with simply erasing the memory of anti-fascism. Like the Trump administration, its purpose is to criminalize it. Though obviously alarmed by this new development, Prezioso finds solace in the fact that anti-fascism continues to worry the likes of Meloni. For it conveys that the anti-fascist tradition remains a crucial resource for those who are determined to challenge the world's rightward drift. Our interview took place in Paris on October 13th, 2025.